Now, we can surmise that in some sense, this life here on earth is a practice, a teaching ground for a very long, indefinite future. Ideally, I would like to think that. And I seem to gain little by assuming anything other than that. If it is, this is the bringing up, we're our childhood stage here on earth, then I'm assuming that it's intelligently organised by a wonderful God. I seem to gain nothing by assuming anything other than this. And indeed, if I happen to be right, the gains are enormous in that I've become a good student, if you like. So, the rule book's not too clear. There's a lot of religions and advice out there, and not all of it's the same by any means. Although there are certain similarities, as we've seen, in what people's ideal values tend to be. They want life, not death. They want happiness, not unhappiness. Pleasure, not pain. Health, not disease. Life, not death. Yeah, etc. And I think I can assume reasonably as well that God is organising this playroom or this school or this homeschool. In a way, this classroom is being organised so that, well, if we just have as peaceful time as possible, I don't mean as impossible, but pursuing peace and goodness as we see it, given the uncertainty of the situation, we have a lot of ignorance, we don't always understand. Given that sort of situation, that God knows that from the beginning and has constructed what we see as reality here accordingly. I gain nothing by assuming that my God has designed this to be the hardest thing ever, a terrible time, most unhappy, wretched and fraught with all sorts of confusion and so forth. If I'm finding I am running into such, then I might just think I'm not going the right way. Perhaps I should shift my values, shift what I'm doing, shift my understanding as to what results in what and whether what is that happy or not. Is this what I really value? In other words, He will have arranged this world such that our situation is such that we can, if you like, most reasonably attain adulthood in the kingdom of heaven. I don't see that I gain anything by imagining anything other than this. And I gain a great deal of happiness and harmony and contentment by believing this. I gain this here and now. So, for instance, one extreme, and there are several, but if there's no future at all, there's a possibility, well, at least I'll have made the present much happier than it would otherwise have been, instead of being confronted with, for instance, the notion that my eternity was damnation, and it's looming over me at death. That could really spoil our happiness and contentment and what we achieve here and now. So, in some sense, I am being rational in uncertainty. I am making a decision. You know, I am pursuing the following values: peace, harmlessness, compassion, creativity, perhaps justice. I'm not quite sure how to define justice at times. I don't want revenge. I don't want punishment particularly. But well, no, I want love more than justice, don't I? I would. Justice suggests that I was competently chose the wrong way. Well, it's never competent. To choose the wrong way is incompetence by definition. The point is I do it through ignorance, not through... I mean, even though you might say, well, he was willfully murdering someone, he was presumably doing it because in some sense this was rational to him as he saw it in solving his situation of, if you like, wanting pleasure and avoiding hardship. He got it wrong, perhaps, probably. But, you know, in other circumstances, you might think he got it right. He went off to war to fight the enemy, to protect his country. On the other hand, you might think, no, violence is wrong in all circumstances. I think that's hard to defend. You might need to be violent to protect your children, your family, and your life, and other people's lives. So, there are, as I see it, circumstances in which you can make a rational decision in uncertainty, and that decision be, I hesitate to say certainly right, but there's a very strong case for saying it's right, put it that way. Or it seems there's a strong case for saying that that's right. And that's maybe the best we can ever do. It's certainly better than blindly accepting one way as right without good reason. And what constitutes good reason will really be what appeals to your values and experience at present. Either way, we should say, I think, thank you, Heavenly Father, for being so kind and providing this fantastic miracle of experience from what might well, in our ignorant view, have been absolutely nothing at all otherwise, not even our own existence. Love you. Thank you, Dad.